In the second session of Android Study Jams, we started creating a calculator app, which was not completed. And today, in today's session, we will complete it. We will do the later section of that app, which was left. So for this, I would like to hand over the session to Anurag Vishwakarma. For the time being, I am just presenting my screen to you and showing you all that how can you complete the pathways or the tracks for getting certificates of Android Study Jams. So basically, I had provided you the link in the comment in the chat section, and you can just go you can just go to the link and visit this page. And these are the badges. When you complete these units, you will be able to earn these badges of you, like I had completed of unit 1, unit 2, and these and I need to complete all these badges for being eligible for getting certificates. So there are total 6 units in first track, and in second track also there are some units. So you need to complete these tracks. And I think so I had already explained you about how you can go to the explore section of these pathways, and you can just like complete these pathways, and in the later section you need to complete the quiz for being eligible for getting the badges. And once you are able to complete all these pathways, you will be getting certified by Android Study Jams. Can you all just please let me know how many of you are completing this Android Study Jams, and how many of you have taken these quizzes? Just write a yes in the chat section. So I think so there is some technical issue at the end of Anurag. So apologies for that. We need to actually wait for some time so that I can fix this problem. Okay, so we will just continue with Android app structure of Android app architecture in today's session. In this lesson, we will deal about what Android app architecture is, what is view model, what is data binding, what is live data, transform live data, and a bit of summary of all this. Avoid short-term hacks. External factors such as tight deadlines can lead to poor decisions about app design and structure. Whenever we create an app, the very much things comes into our mind is about UI of our app. So for this, we need to take care about tight deadlines. Decisions have consequences for future work. Need to balance on-time delivery, and we need to also focus on maintenance of our app so that our app is very easy to maintain. Tailoring our app to a specific device, irrespective of the system or the OS. We should never blindly copy and paste just code into our files. Placing all business logic properly into our app is very important part. Hard coding user interface strengths in your code. Why you need a good app architecture? Why actually we need good app of our architecture? Here are some points. Very first point is clearly defines where specific business logics belong. Secondly, it makes easier for developers to collaborate, uh, and it makes our app more readable. It is easier to test, lets you benefit from already solved problems. It also saves times, reduces technical debt as you extend your app. What actually Android Jetpack is. So Android libraries that incorporate best practices and provide backward compatibility in our apps. Jetpack comprises the Android X package libraries. Separation of concerns. So here is a flow chart. You can see on the screen. UI controller activity or fragment has layout, view model. View model consists of live data, and then it is connected with the data layer. What are components of our architecture? Architecture design patterns are like MVVM and MVI. These describes a loose template for what the structure of our app should be, how it should look like. Jetpack architecture components help you design a robust, testable, and maintainable app. So basically, this is the this is the need of Jetpack. Coming to the second topic, that is view model. Here are dependencies in our app build.gradle file. What actually view model is? Here are some few points about a view model. The very first is it prepares data for the UI, must not reference activity fragment or views in view hierarchy, scopes to a life cycle. It enables data to survive configuration changes, survive as long as the scope is alive. You can see on the screen lifetime of a view model. As soon as the activity created has on create, on start, on resume. Activity rotated has on pause, on stop. Just a second, let me. So activity rotated has on, pause, on, stop, on, destroy, all these um, all these functions. On finish has on, pause, on, stop, on, destroy. So this is basically a lifetime of a view model. Here is a example of an app named Kabaddi Counter. So it consists of a very simple UI. You can see in the screen, you can see it just on the screen. What is abstract class view model? We are just going to sum up what actually abstract class view model is. So it consists of public constructors, protected methods, extension properties. How can we implement a view model? Here is a simple code written in which we can see implementation of a view model. In this, we have created a function named view model. We have two variables, score A, score B, in which we have assigned values 0. A simple function we have created, increment score, in which if team A is not 0, then we will increment score A variable, otherwise score B variable. This is also implementation, basic implementation of view model. What is data binding? What actually app architecture looks like without data binding? View models, view model objects hold the data in your app. In the layout, it would be simpler if the view model instance communicated directly with views without relying on UI controllers as intermediaries. View models can work in concert and data binding. Here is data binding in XML form. So what is observer design pattern? So basically uh, subject maintains list of observers to notify when state changes. Also, observers receive state changes from subject and execute appropriate code. Observers can be added or removed at any time. This is observer design pattern diagram. Coming to live data, what live data is? A life cycle aware data holder that can be observed. Secondly, wrapper that can be used with any data, including lists. For example, live data int holds an int, often used by view models to hold individual data fields. Observers like activity or fragment can be added or removed. How can we just use live data in a view model? This is a simple implementation. In this code, you can see simple implementation of live data. I am sharing with you all the link of this presentation so that you can once go through it if you need any, because this slide actually contains so many links where you all can just go and see if you need any direction regarding to, now I think so we should just go and complete a track. So let's complete the unit third, which is navigation. Navigate between, let's start with the very first pathway, navigate between the screens. Please once let me know if this sound is audible. I think so it is not. So I'm just skipping for now. Let's move to the code lab collections in Kotlin and know more about what collections are in Kotlin. As we all know, like words, a set of employee records, basically a can have items unique. You have already learned about one type of collection, that is lists. Lists have an order to items, but the items don't have to be unique. It's not necessary that in list we need to have. As with lists, Kotlin distinguishes between mutable, immutable collections. Kotlin provides numerous functions for adding or deleting items, viewing and manipulating collections. So in this example, we will create a list of numbers and try to sort them. So I had opened Kotlin Playground, and here we can just run. If you all can also, I am providing link in the chat section. You all can also move and just go here and practice. Now let's create a list. Val number. in this example, we have created a list of numbers, and we have provided some provided some numbers, and in the end we are printing the list, and out we are able to see output in the sorted form. Sorry, the list is not in the sorted form, but we will now see how we can sort this. So for sorting this, we are using the function named sort, function like sorted. How we can use it? So here we are able to see the format, the syntax, that how we can sort this list. We are using here function, sorted function, and we will be able to see our sorted list. I had already in the very first session, I had already told that we are using $sign with curly braces to print the value of our variable. So in this example, we learned about how we can sort a simple list. Moving towards the next. So next is contains, a very important function, which is contains. And contains basically refers contain basically returns true if our set have any number, like have any number, any variable, or something of this sort. For this code, set of numbers was not including 7, and when we searched 7, here we are able to see the output contains false. Here are some more examples, I think. So you can just go through these examples, and these are very nicely, very beautifully documented, and you can learn from here about these examples and practice by your own. The very next is map. What actually map is the last type of collection. A map is a set of key value pairs, key to value pairs. Here, like key is flowers and values are daisy, sunflower, rose. Next key is animals, and values of this key are, this key can be bear, bird, cat. Of trees can be oak, maple, redwood. So key value pairs are designed to make it easy to look up a given value of a particular key. As we all know, why data structures are made, so that we can see data in a very arranged form, and we can do different operations on it easily. So we are using data structure. For it also provides us a readability. So keys are unique, and each key maps to exactly one value, but the values can have duplicates. Values in maps can be strings, numbers, or objects. We can provide data type of these map of our key value pair, so that we can keep different values in it. A map is useful when you have pairs of data. This is a simple example of map. In this, our key is of string type and value is of integer type. So these are the two values. We had made map named people ages, and we are giving two values: Fred of age 30 and Anne of age 23. And when we are printing this map, we are able to see the value Fred, and its age is means Fred is our key and its value is 30. Next our key is Anne and its value is 23. So in this format, when we will print our map in this format, we will be able to see our output. To add more entitles to the map, we can use put function passing in the key and value. So put function will add one more entry to our map. Like we are having here only two entries, which is Fred and Anne. By using put, like in C we use in C++ we use insert. In Java we use add. Similarly in Kotlin we are using here put function to add one more entry in our map, which is Barbara, age 42. The another shorthand notation for adding an entry is this one. We can also use this shorthand format for putting our entry. So this is the combined. This is the combined code of the above lines explained. Finally, in people ages, we are having four entries, which are Fred, Anne, Barbara, and Joy. When we run this code, we will be able to see all the four entries. Working with collections, although they have different qualities, different types of collections have a lot of behavior in common. They are mutable. You can add or remove items. It means we can change items in our map. Suppose if we want to print the example which we discussed in the later section. Suppose if we want to print people ages, so how we can do that? We can also do this using for each loops, and this is the format. We can also by using this for each loop, we can like customize our output. This is a simple loop. What map function is, moving towards the next section, which is map function. Map function applies a transformation to each item in a collection. We can see in this example, before we were using for each to print each item of our map. We were using for each, but here we are using map function, and this line will give us output in this form. And here we are using separator, join to string, which is comma is our separator. Here are some more functions, which one is filter, And I think so we all are familiar with what filter does. It actually filters the value from our map and prints out the one which follows the condition. So I think so. Next one is make words list, and in the very latest section we are having summary. I'm just once going through this summary. So what collection is? Collection is a group of related items. Collections can be mutable or it can be immutable. Collections can be ordered or it can be unordered. Collections can require unique items or sometimes it can also allow duplicates. Kotlin supports different types of collection, including sets, lists, sets, maps. Kotlin provides many functions for processing and transforming collections, some of which we discussed now, where for each, map function, filter, sorted, and we are having some more. A lambda function, what is a lambda function? A lambda is a function without a name that can be passed as an expression immediately. What a higher order functions means? So basically passing a function to another function or returning a function from another function is higher order function. So I think so for today's session, I had taken you through some very simple concepts of Kotlin, and I would like you all to complete these pathways. I had already shared the link of these pathways. You can just go through these code labs, like I had done this one for you today. You can just go through all these code labs and complete the quiz, and you will be getting your badge. And similarly, by completing all these pathways, you will be eligible for Android Study Jams certificates. So for today, I am going to wrap this session. If you are having any query related to Android Study Jams, you can just put in the chat section, or you can let us know on our WhatsApp group. So thank you for joining.